never thought I'd be the punchline to a joke with 50,000 witnesses. The day I discovered my wife's Instagram account felt like someone had ripped the floor from beneath me. There I was, scrolling through dozens of humiliating photos of myself sleeping with my mouth open. Screenshots of our most private conversations, all beneath the username My Pathetic Husband. Her followers couldn't get enough of it, commenting "Leave him, girl" on every post. When I confronted her, she laughed it off as just for fun. But what happened next? Let's just say karma has a way of revealing who the truly pathetic one is. I always thought we had a good marriage. Not perfect, what marriage is, but solid. I'm Michael Donovan, third IFR, software engineer at a mid-sized tech company in Boston. I met Sarah 7 years ago at a friend's housewarming party, and we clicked immediately. She was vibrant, witty, and her laugh could fill an entire room. I fell hard and fast. After dating for 2 years, we got married in a small ceremony with close friends and family. We bought a modest house in the suburbs, adopted a golden retriever named Charlie, and settled into what I thought was domestic bliss. Sarah worked as a marketing manager for a cosmetics company, and her career was taking off. I was proud of her success and supported her ambitions wholeheartedly. Looking back, I should have noticed the subtle shifts in our relationship. The way her eyes would roll slightly when I talked about my work. The increasing frequency of her girls' nights out. The inside jokes with her friends that would abruptly stop when I entered the room. But love has a way of blinding you to the obvious. The discovery happened on a rainy Tuesday evening in October. I had come home early from work because of a migraine. Sarah was out with colleagues for a dinner meeting, not expected back until late. As I settled on the couch with a cup of tea and some painkillers, Charlie nudged his head under my arm, seeking attention. When I reached down to pet him, I accidentally knocked Sarah's iPad off the coffee table. When I picked it up, the screen lit up, revealing that she was still logged into Instagram. A notification popped up. My pathetic husband just reached 50,000 followers. Celebrate this milestone. Curiosity piqued. I tapped on the notification. What followed was the most gut-wrenching scrolling session of my life. There I was, post after post, photo after photo, me sleeping with my mouth wide open, caption snores loud enough to wake the dead, a screenshot of a text where I asked her if she'd seen my favorite sweater, captioned "He would lose his head if it wasn't attached." A picture of me concentrating on assembling furniture with the caption "3 hours later and he's still on step 1. I could have built an entire IKEA store by now. The comments were worse than the posts themselves. "Girl, why are you still with this loser? You deserve so much better. My 12-year-old is more competent than your husband. Leave him, girl." My hands trembled as I scrolled through hundreds of posts dating back almost 2 years. 2 years of mockery. 2 years of betrayal. 2 years of my wife sharing intimate details of our life for public amusement. There were pictures of me doing household chores incorrectly according to her, screenshots of our arguments where she had cleverly edited out her own harsh words, making me look irrational and emotionally stunted. There was even a photo of me crying at my father's funeral, captioned "He cries at movies too." Any slight emotional trigger and the waterworks start. Each post had thousands of likes. Each hateful comment had been liked by her account. She had responded to many with laughing emoji, IS, or additional embarrassing details about me. I felt physically ill. The migraine intensified to the point where the room seemed to spin. Charlie sensed my distress and whined softly, pressing his warm body against my legs. I buried my face in his fur and let the tears come. How could the woman who vowed to love and respect me expose me this way? How could she find joy in humiliating me to strangers? The Sarah I thought I knew would never do this. But the evidence was irrefutable. I spent hours going through the entire account, taking screenshots for myself, documenting everything. There was a numb, detached feeling as I did this, like I was gathering evidence at a crime scene rather than witnessing the murder of my marriage. When the front door finally opened around 11 o'clock, I had composed myself. The iPad was back on the coffee table, exactly where it had been. I was sitting on the couch, outwardly calm, inwardly shattered. "Hey, you're still up," Sarah said, hanging her coat by the door. "How's your migraine?" "Better," I lied. "How was dinner?" "Boring." "Clients talking about market research and demographic targeting." She kicked off her heels and flopped beside me on the couch. I almost fell asleep at the table. I studied her face, the stranger who had shared my bed, my home, my life for 5 years. There wasn't a hint of guilt in her expression. She leaned over to kiss my cheek, and it took every ounce of self-control not to recoil. "I think I'll take a shower and head to bed," she said, standing up. "Coming up soon?" "In a bit," I replied, my voice surprisingly steady. After she went upstairs, I sat in the dark living room with only the ticking clock and Charlie's soft breathing to keep me company. The question that kept circling my mind: what do I do now? The next morning, I called in sick to work. Sarah left for her office with a quick peck on my cheek and a reminder that we were supposed to have dinner with her parents that weekend. I forced a smile and promised I wouldn't forget. As soon as the door closed behind her, I sat at our dining table and made a list of every social media account I had, every shared account, every piece of personal information she might have access to. For 3 days, I maintained the facade. I smiled at dinner, made small talk, and pretended everything was normal while I methodically detached my digital life from hers. I changed passwords, secured accounts, and discreetly contacted a lawyer. On Friday evening, I finally felt ready to confront her. I had prepared what I wanted to say, rehearsed it in my mind countless times. We were having dinner at home, her homemade lasagna, my favorite. The irony wasn't lost on me. Sarah, I began after we'd finished eating, I need to ask you something important. She looked up from her wine glass, eyebrows raised. Sounds serious. Do you respect me? The question hung in the air between us. She laughed nervously. What kind of question is that? Of course I do. Then why do you have an Instagram account called My Pathetic Husband with 50,000 followers where you post humiliating photos of me and share our private conversations? The color drained from her face. Her wine glass rose halfway to her lips. For a moment, just a moment, I saw genuine shock in her eyes, not at being caught, but perhaps at hearing how it sounded when stated so plainly. Michael, she started, then stopped. She set down her glass carefully. How did you find out? Not denial. Not even an attempt. Just surprise at being discovered. Does it matter? I asked. What matters is that it exists. That for 2 years, you've been mocking me to strangers on the internet. It's not what you think, she said, leaning forward, her voice taking on that placating tone she used when trying to manage clients. It's just a silly account. It's just for fun. Fun? I repeated, the word tasting bitter. You call humiliating your husband fun? Everyone does it, she exclaimed. All my friends have accounts where they vent about their husbands or boyfriends. It's just a way to blow off steam. It doesn't mean anything. You posted a picture of me crying at my father's funeral, I said quietly. She had the decency to look ashamed for a split second before her defensive wall came back up. That was probably crossing a line, she admitted. But most of it is harmless, and people love it. Do you know how many sponsorship offers I've gotten? This could actually turn into a real income stream. I stared at her, struggling to recognize the woman before me. So my humiliation is a potential income stream for you? You're overreacting, she said, rolling her eyes. It's not personal. Not personal? My voice finally rose. It's literally called My Pathetic Husband. How is that not personal? It's just a catchy name. It's marketing. She threw her hands up in exasperation. God, you're being so sensitive about this. It's the internet. Michael, nobody takes it seriously. 50,000 people seem to take it seriously enough to follow along and comment about what a loser I am and how you should leave me. That's just how people talk online. They don't mean it. I stood up from the table, unable to sit across from her for another minute. Did you mean it? When you captioned that picture of me making you breakfast in bed for your birthday as burnt toast and cold coffee again, setting the bar so low a worm couldn't limbo under it? Did you mean that? She didn't answer. Do you think I'm pathetic, Sarah? I asked, my voice breaking despite my best efforts. Sarah stood and approached me, reaching for my hands. I stepped back. Babe, of course not. It's just a persona for the account. It's not how I really feel. Then why did it feel so easy and natural for you to mock me day after day, year after year? Why do you enjoy it so much? I'll delete it, she said quickly. Right now? I'll delete the whole account. It was stupid, I see that now. The damage is done, I said quietly. 50,000 people know intimate details about her life. About me. 50,000 people have been invited by my wife to laugh at me. People will forget. The internet has the attention span of a goldfish. In a week, no one will remember. I'll remember, I said. Every time I look at you, I'll remember. Her expression hardened. So, what are you saying? You want a divorce over an Instagram account? That's ridiculous. We've been together for 7 years. And for at least 2 of those years, you've been betraying my trust in one of the most fundamental ways possible. It's social media, Michael. It's not like I cheated on you. Didn't you? I asked. You shared parts of me, parts of us, that weren't yours to share. You violated my privacy and my dignity for likes and followers. How is that not a betrayal? She started crying then, big theatrical tears that once upon a time would have broken my heart and made me do anything to comfort her. Now I just felt tired. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. I never thought about how it would make you feel. I never thought you'd find out. Please, let's just forget about this. I'll make it up to you, I promise. You never thought I'd find out, I repeated. That's the problem, Sarah. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. That night, I slept in the guest room. The next morning, Sarah acted like nothing had happened. She made pancakes, my favorite, and brought me coffee in bed, a gesture she hadn't made in years. I deleted the account, she announced, sitting on the edge of the bed. It's gone. Every post, every picture, everything. We can move past this now. I took the coffee and nodded, not trusting myself to speak. What she didn't know was that I had already spoken to a divorce attorney the day before and had an appointment scheduled for Monday morning. I was thinking, she continued, oblivious to my silence, we should take that trip to Hawaii we've been talking about. Get away for a while, reconnect. What do you think? Maybe, I said, non-committal lie. She smiled, clearly taking this as a positive sign. Great, I'll look at flights today. After she left the room, I checked my phone. I had set up Google Alerts for my pathetic husband Instagram, and sure enough, there was already social media chatter about the account's sudden disappearance. Some followers were speculating that the husband had found out. They weren't wrong. What Sarah didn't realize was that deleting an account doesn't erase it from the internet entirely. Screenshots exist, archives exist, and her followers, invested in the drama of our life as she had presented it, were already creating backup accounts, sharing saved posts, and discussing the abrupt deletion. I spent the weekend in a strange limbo, going through the motions of normal life while my mind was elsewhere. We had dinner with her parents as planned. They were always fond of me and I of them. I wondered if they knew about the account, if they had seen their son-in-law reduced to a punchline from their warm, normal behavior. I guess not. On Monday, I met with the divorce attorney, a no-nonsense woman named Patricia who listened to my story without judgment. Unfortunately, Mr. Donovan, what your wife did isn't technically illegal, she explained. Morally reprehensible, absolutely. Grounds for divorce? Certainly. But the posts themselves, assuming they're true and not defamatory, are in a gray area legally. I understand, I said. I'm not looking to sue her. I just want out. Given that Massachusetts is a no-fault divorce state, we can proceed on grounds of irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. However, these posts might help us negotiate a more favorable settlement for you. I nodded. I want to be fair. I don't want to punish her financially. I just want a clean break. Patricia gave me a sympathetic look. Mr. Donovan, your wife monetized your humiliation. Don't be so quick to take the high road when she's been paving her path with your dignity. I left her office with paperwork to review and a heavy heart. Despite everything, ending a 7-year relationship wasn't easy. I had loved Sarah, still loved her in some damaged, confused way, but I couldn't see a path forward with someone who had so little respect for me. When I returned home, Sarah was waiting with dinner prepared and candles lit. She had bought my favorite wine and was wearing the dress she knew I loved. What's all this? I asked, setting down my bag. I'm making things right, she said, approaching to kiss me. I turned my face slightly so her lips landed on my cheek instead. I've been thinking about what you said, and you're right. What I did was awful. I betrayed your trust. But Michael, I love you. We can get past this. We sat down to dinner, and she kept the conversation light, reminiscing about our early dating days, our honeymoon. Happy memories. I participated minimally, pushing food around my plate. You're still angry, she observed finally. I understand. You have every right to be. But I need to know if you can ever forgive me. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw genuine fear in her eyes. Not fear of losing me, I realized, but fear of what this would do to her carefully curated image. Sarah had always been obsessed with how others perceived her. It was what made her excellent at her marketing job and marketing our marriage as a tragicomedy. I need time, I said finally. This isn't something I can just get over. She nodded, relief evident in her expression. She thought this meant I was staying. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. The next day, a package arrived for Sarah. She opened it excitedly at the dining table. Look, she exclaimed, holding up a skincare product. It's from that new luxury brand I told you about. They want me to promote it on my personal Instagram. That's nice, I said, not looking up from my laptop where I was reviewing the divorce papers. They mentioned they were fans of my other account, she said hesitantly, but I told them that was behind me now. Still, they're offering $500 for a single post. Isn't that amazing? I closed my laptop and stood up. So your My Pathetic Husband brand is still paying dividends, huh? Her face fell. Michael, it's not like that. This is completely separate. Is it? They specifically mentioned they know you from that account. Well, yes, but did you tell them the truth? That you shut it down because your husband found out you were mocking him to 50,000 strangers? She looked down at the product in her hands. Not exactly. I said I was rebranding. Rebranding, I repeated flatly. Nice corporate speak. It's not a big deal. It's just business. Our marriage isn't a business, Sarah, at least. It wasn't supposed to be. That evening, I received a text from my friend Jason. Dude, is everything okay with you and Sarah? She just posted something weird on Instagram. My stomach dropped. I hadn't been checking her personal account, focusing instead on ensuring the My Pathetic Husband account stayed deleted. I pulled up her profile and saw her latest post, a selfie of her looking tearful with the caption, "Going through some personal struggles right now. Sometimes the people you love the most can't understand how much you love them. Marriage is hard, praying for understanding." The comments were flooding in. "Stay strong, girl. Men never understand the pressure women are under. Did something happen to your other account? I miss your hilarious posts about your husband." And Sarah was responding, vague enough to maintain plausible deniability with me, but clear enough for her followers to read between the lines. "Thanks for the support, everyone." Unfortunately, some content was misunderstood by certain people. Taking a break to reevaluate, she was playing the victim. After humiliating me for years, she was now positioning herself as the misunderstood wife whose husband couldn't take a joke, and her followers were eating it up, offering support, asking for the real story, promising to follow whatever new account she might create. I screenshotted everything and sent it to Patricia. "This isn't surprising." She texted back, "Start documenting all interactions, forward me any new posts, and Michael's, don't confront her about this, let her show her true colors while we prepare the filing." For the next week, I lived with a stranger who thought she was fooling me. Sarah was sweet to my face, making my favorite meals, suggesting date nights, being unusually affectionate. Meanwhile, her Instagram was telling a different story, with increasingly dramatic posts hinting at troubles at home, garnering sympathy and engagement. I played along, acting as if I was slowly warming up to her again, considering forgiveness. It wasn't entirely an act. Part of me desperately wanted to believe that the woman I married was still in there somewhere, that this social media persona wasn't the real Sarah. Then came the twist I hadn't anticipated. I was at work when my phone exploded with notifications. Friends, colleagues, even my mother were messaging me, all asking variations of the same question: "Have you seen what Sarah posted?" With a sense of dread, I checked her Instagram. There it was, a tearful video confession. "I need to be honest with all of you," she began, mascara artfully smudged. "Some of you followed my account, My Pathetic Husband, before I had to take it down. What I did was wrong. I betrayed my husband's trust for likes and followers. He found out and he was devastated. I've been trying to make things right, but I'm afraid I've damaged their marriage beyond repair." She went on, detailing her regret, how she never meant to hurt me, how she was praying he could find it in his heart to forgive her. The performance was masterful, vulnerable yet composed, regretful yet dignified. The comments were a mix of support for her bravery in coming clean and criticism for having created the account in the first place. Some of her most ardent supporters from the original account were now turning on her, calling her actions toxic and abusive. Sarah had pulled the ultimate influencer move, getting ahead of the scandal by confessing on her own terms, garnering sympathy for her growth and accountability. It was marketing 101. Control the narrative before someone else does. I sat at my desk, stunned not by her confession but by the calculated nature of it. She hadn't consulted me or warned me. She hadn't considered how this public airing of our marital problems might affect me. Once again, she had used our relationship for content, for engagement, for her own benefit. My phone rang. It was Sarah. "Did you see my post?" she asked immediately. "Yes," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. "I did it for us, Michael. I came clean. I took accountability. Isn't that what you wanted?" "What I wanted was a wife who respected me enough not to mock me to strangers in the first place," I said quietly. "What I wanted was for you to understand why what you did was wrong without turning it into more content. But this is how I'm making amends. I'm showing everyone that I was wrong. I'm telling the world how much I love you and how sorry I am." You didn't ask me if I wanted our marital problems broadcast to your followers. You didn't consider what it would be like for me to have colleagues and family members messaging me about this. I thought you'd be happy, she said, her voice hardening. I thought this would help. But nothing I do is ever enough for you, is it? The conversation ended with her hanging up on me, furious that I wasn't grateful for her public apology. By the time I got home, she had posted a follow-up a photo of our wedding day with a long caption about fighting for love and not giving up when things get hard. The likes and supportive comments were pouring in. Sarah had successfully transformed her humiliation of me into a redemption narrative for herself, and I realized then that this wasn't going to stop. Our marriage, my dignity, our private struggles, all of it was just content to her. That night, Sarah tried again to reconcile. She was softer this time, less defensive. I know the video was a mistake, she admitted as we sat in our living room. I should have talked to you first. I panicked. I could feel you pulling away. And I thought if I showed you how sorry I was, how willing I was to humiliate myself publicly the way I humiliated you, you might forgive me. It was the closest to genuine remorse I'd seen from her. I appreciate that, I said carefully. And I know this hasn't been easy for either of us. Hope flickered in her eyes. Does that mean you're willing to try to work on our marriage? I took a deep breath. I need to ask you something first, and I need complete honesty. Anything, she promised. If I forgive you, if we stay together, will you stop posting about our relationship online? Not just the negative stuff, but all of it. No more using our marriage for content. No more sharing private moments for likes. She hesitated, just a fraction of a second, but long enough for me to see the truth. Of course, she said finally, if that's what you need. But I had seen her face. I had seen the calculation, the cost-benefit analysis running behind her eyes. She was already thinking of ways around this, of how to frame our reconciliation for maximum engagement, of the content possibilities. Okay, I said, nodding slowly. Then I'm willing to try, but I need time. Space to process everything. Relief washed over her face. Take all the time you need, I'll be right here. The next day, I took a personal day from work. While Sarah was at her office, I methodically packed my essentials, clothes, important documents, irreplaceable mementos. I left Charlie with a neighbor who adored him and had often dog-sat for us, promising to make arrangements soon. I didn't leave a note. I didn't send a text. I simply disappeared from our home, checking into a hotel across town where I had already made a reservation. It was 6 hours before my phone started ringing incessantly. Sarah. Panicked, calling again and again. I let it go to voicemail each time. Michael, where are you? I came home and you're not here. Call me back. Michael, this isn't funny. Where are you? Are you okay? Michael, I'm getting worried. If I don't hear from you in the next hour, I'm calling the police. I finally texted back a simple message. Unsafe. I need space. Please don't contact me for a while. Her response was immediate. What does that mean? Are you leaving me? We just agreed to work things out. I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone and ordered room service. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. When I turned my phone back on the next morning, there were dozens of missed calls and messages from Sarah. And as I had anticipated, a new Instagram post, a tearful selfie with the caption, "Sometimes the people you love leave without warning. Pray for me as I navigate this heartbreaking time." Heartbroken, abandoned. The comments were flooding in, supporters rallying around her, condemning the unnamed villain me, who had left such a remorseful, loving woman. Some speculated that it was karma for her, my pathetic husband, to count. Others suggested she was better off without someone who couldn't forgive. And there it was, exactly what I had expected. Even in this moment, she was using our pain for content. She couldn't help herself. I forwarded the post to Patricia and then called my boss to request a week of emergency leave, which he granted immediately. Then I checked into a different hotel using cash and focused on finalizing the divorce paperwork. Over the next few days, Sarah's posts became increasingly desperate and dramatic. Videos of her crying in our empty house, photos of Charlie looking sad she had picked him up from the neighbor, screenshots of unanswered text messages to me with the caption, "He won't even talk to me." Her followers were divided now. Some continued to support her unconditionally, while others were beginning to question the public nature of her grief. Maybe this should be handled privately, some commented. Is posting all this really helping your marriage? I maintained my silence, speaking only to Patricia, close friends, and family to assure them I was okay. I didn't tell anyone where I was staying, knowing Sarah would exhaust every avenue to find me. A week after I left, Sarah posted what she clearly intended to be her masterstroke, a heartfelt video apology directed specifically to me. Michael, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I've made terrible mistakes. The account, the posts, even these recent updates, I see now how wrong it all was. I've been addicted to the validation. The likes, the followers. I've been using our relationship for content, and it was cruel and selfish. She went on, tears streaming down her face, promising to get therapy, to stay off social media entirely, to do whatever it took to save our marriage. I love you more than any number of followers. Please come home so we can fix this. I'll never post about us again. I promise. It was, objectively, a good apology. It hit all the right notes. It acknowledged the specific wrongs, took full responsibility, and made concrete promises for change. If it had come immediately after I discovered the account, if it had been delivered privately, face-to-face, with genuine remorse rather than as content for her followers, it might have made a difference. But it was too late. The trust was broken beyond repair. The comments on this video were overwhelmingly supportive of her. Her followers praised her vulnerability and growth. Many tagged me directly. She had mentioned my Instagram handle in the caption, urging me to forgive her, to recognize her sincere remorse. Then something unexpected happened. A comment from a user named TruthTeller47 appeared. Is no one going to talk about how she's still using their marriage problems for content? She's apologizing for exploiting their relationship, while literally exploiting their relationship. The comment gained traction. Others began to chime in. Wait, she's sorry for posting about him. In a post about him, if she really wanted to apologize, wouldn't she do it privately? This feels like manipulation. She's weaponizing her followers against him. Sarah tried to defend herself in the comments, but it was too late. The tide was turning. Her most recent posts were now being scrutinized with new eyes. People were revisiting her my pathetic husband content through screenshots and archives, seeing the cruelty that had been framed as humor. By the end of the day, my pathetic wife was trending in our local area. Sarah's followers were leaving in droves. Brands that had partnered with her were quietly distancing themselves. She called me 27 times that day. I didn't answer. On the 10th day after I left, I finally agreed to meet Sarah at a neutral location, a quiet cafe downtown. I arrived early and chose a table in the corner away from other patrons. When she walked in, I almost didn't recognize her. Gone was the perfectly made-up influencer. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, her face bare of makeup, dark circles under her eyes. Michael, she breathed, sliding into the seat across from me. Thank you for meeting me. I nodded, keeping my expression neutral. How are you? Terrible, she admitted. I've lost everything. My followers, my brand partnerships, my husband. Her voice broke on the last word. I've been such a fool. Yes, I agreed quietly. You have. She reached across the table for my hand. I let her take it, feeling nothing but a distant sadness. I meant what I said in that video, she insisted. I'll do anything to fix this. I'll delete all my social media. I'll go to therapy. Whatever it takes. The problem, Sarah, isn't just the social media, I said. It's that you fundamentally don't respect me. You never have. That's not true. I love you. Love without respect isn't love. It's possession. It's using someone for what they can give you: validation, content, a punching bag for your jokes. She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. Please don't say that. We had good times. We were happy. Were we? Or were you just collecting moments to share, categorizing our life together as either content or filler? It wasn't like that, she protested weakly. I pulled my hand away and reached into my jacket pocket, retrieving the manila envelope I had brought. I filed for divorce, Sarah. Her face crumpled. No, Michael, please. We can work through this. I've been served with divorce papers before, I said calmly, on my pathetic husband account. Remember, you staged a fake serving of papers as a prank to see my reaction. You filmed me panicking, thinking my wife wanted to end our marriage, and you posted it with the caption, "Got him good." Your followers thought it was hilarious. She had the decency to look ashamed. That was just a stupid joke. I never actually wanted a divorce. Well, now you have one. I slid the envelope across the table. I'm not asking for anything unreasonable. The house is yours. I just want my personal belongings, my car and Charlie. Charlie, her voice rose. You're taking our dog? The dog I picked out. The dog I walk every morning. The dog who sleeps on my side of the bed. Yes, I'm taking Charlie. But my followers love Charlie. He's part of my brand. And there it was. The mask slipping once again. Not I love Charlie or I'll miss Charlie, but my followers love Charlie. Thank you for making my point, I said. Standing up. My lawyer's contact information is in there. Please direct all communication through her from now on. Wait, Sarah grabbed my arm. Don't leave like this. At least tell me where you're staying. We should talk more. I gently removed her hand. We've talked enough. For years, you've been talking about me to strangers. Now I'm choosing silence. As I walked toward the door, she called after me, "Is there someone else? Is that what this is about?" I turned back, genuinely surprised. No, Sarah, there's no one else. There's just me, finally respecting myself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't. Outside, the autumn air was crisp and clean. I took a deep breath, feeling lighter than I had in months. My phone buzzed, in my pocket a text from the neighbor who was watching. "Charlie, your boy is eager to see you. He's been sitting by the door all morning." I smiled and texted back that I'd be there soon. As I walked to my car, I resisted the urge to check Sarah's Instagram. Whatever narrative she spun about our meeting, whatever sympathy she garnered, it no longer mattered to me. Her posts, her followers, her carefully curated online persona, they were her reality, not mine. 3 months later, I was settled in a small apartment across town. Charlie had adjusted well to our new life, enjoying the park nearby. I had declined to give any interviews or share my side of the story, despite numerous requests from media outlets after our divorce went viral. Sarah had attempted one final public reconciliation attempt, a tearful Instagram live where she begged me to reconsider, promising she had changed. Her followers, now seeing through the performance, had flooded the comments with criticism. Shortly after, she announced she was taking an indefinite break from social media to focus on healing. I heard from mutual friends that she had indeed started therapy and was living quietly, away from the spotlight. Part of me hoped she would find whatever validation she was seeking within herself rather than from strangers on the internet. As for me, I was rediscovering who I was outside of being someone's husband, someone's punchline. I had joined a hiking club, reconnected with old friends, and even started dating again, cautiously, mindfully. One evening, as Charlie and I returned from our walk, my phone pinged with a notification. It was an email from Sarah, the first direct communication since our meeting at the cafe. "Michael," it began, "I'm not asking for reconciliation or forgiveness. I just want you to know that I'm doing the work. Real work, not performance. My therapist suggested I make amends to those I've hurt without expectation of response. So here I am, telling you that I am truly sorry for how I treated you. You deserved better. I hope you're finding happiness, Sarah." I read it twice, then set my phone down without replying. Charlie nudged my hand with his nose, tennis ball in mouth, eager to play. As I threw the ball across the living room, watching him bound after it with pure joy, I realized something profound is a voice after. Sometimes the most powerful response isn't a clever comeback or a public statement. Sometimes it's simply walking away and building a life that speaks for itself. Sarah had built her life around an audience of thousands. I was building mine around what truly mattered: authenticity, self-respect, and the quiet knowledge that I had finally chosen myself. And that, unlike followers or likes or viral posts, was something no one could ever take away from me.